Hello, today is Monday, March 24th, and welcome to episode 430 of Fault Lines, the National Security Institute's podcast that gets you quickly up to speed 3 times a week on the national security and foreign policy debates shaking up America. I'm NSI fellow Jessica Jones, and I'm joined today by all three of our castmates. We've got Martha Miller, Les Munson, and Morgan Vigna. Today, we're talking about the arrest of the mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem Imamoglu, a key opposition leader and who's seen by many as Turkish President Erdoğan's most formidable rival. The mayor was detained on charges of corruption and alleged ties to terrorism, charges widely seen as politically motivated ahead of Turkey's upcoming elections. In fact, the presidential primary vote was over the weekend, and the mayor was slated to win the opposition candidacy. A little awkward. The government has banned public demonstrations in major cities, shut down main streets, subway stations, and restricted access to social media platforms. You may not have noticed this, though, because there were tons of protests across the country. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the street. There were clashes with police, and just demonstrations have been met with a lot of police presence. So this latest crackdown may or may not be surprise to my co-host. We've talked about democratic backsliding in Turkey quite a bit. Erdoğan, of course, is known for weakening opposition voices, suppressing the media, and all around consolidating his power. He's up for re-election in 2028, though, so this comes at an important time. So, Martha, I want to turn first to you in the big picture. Turkey is one of our main partners. They're a huge force in NATO. They're hugely important to the U.S. and our security interests and that of our European friends and partners. What do you make of this arrest? What does this mean for regional stability and the U.S. partnership?
Look, I think, what's fascinating to me is how Erdoğan has really successfully made Turkey almost like an ultimate swing state of global politics. Indispensable to everyone and accountable to no one. He has, Turkey is central to Black Sea diplomacy. He has made Turkey central to Syria. He also plays a major role in Europe's migration challenges. I think this is, this could be a playbook, unfortunately, for other leaders around the world. If you make yourself indispensable, then everything at home is just fine.
Morgan, what do you make of the timing of this? We have a new administration, I guess newish. It's not brand new anymore. Other than this presidential primary, is there any other reason this is hitting the news lately?
Well, I'll first note that Imamoglu is, a member of the CHP. He is a member of the opposition party. And the fact that he was elected as mayor of Istanbul was really a slap in the face to Erdoğan's AK party. So I think, and as you see with the broad protests going around from Izmir to Ankara to Istanbul, there is a lot of there's a lot of dissatisfaction and frustration and anger towards Erdoğan and his ilk. And this has been building up for some time here. So I don't think we should necessarily take that with a grain of salt. With that said, the timing on Erdoğan's crackdown against the opposition is noteworthy, especially given that President Trump and Erdoğan had a call not yesterday, but last Sunday, where they discussed everything from the F-16 sales to the restart of the F-35 program. As you'll recall, that was shut down following Turkey's purchase of the Russian S-400 radar system. And then they were also discussed lifting of sanctions, as well as on Turkey, but also on Syria. That regime, of course, the new regime that ousted the Assad regime in Syria was supported by Turkey. So all of these things are under discussion. Turkey has some pretty heavy asks for the United States. So I'll be interested to see how President Trump responds moving forward. The initial conversations and press releases were, favorable. I know the United States had just provided Turkey a waiver to purchase additional natural gas from Russia earlier this year. So I think that there are opportunities for Turkey, but with this democratic backsliding, I think that is a severe cause for concern. So needless to say, it's an opportunity for the Trump administration to really use its leverage against Turkey. But at the same time, I think this is definitely going to be a space to watch.
Les, what do you think? So far, there's been a pretty muted response from the international community, including the White House. What do you think, to Morgan's point, that the White House might do?
Well, what a wonderful question, Jones. I think we should put this a little bit in context. There's been some kind of a roller coaster for democracy around the world recently. Notably, Romania canceled an election when the wrong guy won. And they've been going through a lot of difficult politics since then. Here in our own country, our most recent ruling party decided to persecute and prosecute their main political opponent, which was a really bad idea and actually resulted in him winning the election last year. And also we saw Vice President Vance in Europe a month or so ago lecturing Europeans, I would say to some extent correctly, on their various missteps on the Democratic front. So I think the administration has a real opportunity here to be a little critical of Erdoğan and show some balance and some wisdom in their approach to these issues, and give them, and it would give the administration, I think, a lot of legitimacy for some of the other things that it's doing around the world. So I am hopeful that there is a statement coming out of the White House that is critical of what Erdoğan is doing here.
All right, everyone, stay tuned for press releases. That's a wrap. So thanks so much to Kelly Crowley, Claude Jennings, and the entire NSI team for their help in producing today's episode. Join us again on Wednesday, March 26th for another great conversation. Check out our YouTube page to see what we look like this Monday. And if you like what you heard or saw, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
This is going to be a short one.